Hey everyone, my name's Andy. I'm from the Finding Value Finance channel. Today we've got Casper with us. He's known as Uselink on Twitter. And if you want to subscribe to his Twitter page, here we go. It's at UselinkINV. We got him over 3,224 subscribers, so he's up there. He's past the 3,000 mark, but maybe the next one's 3,500. So go ahead
Let's
and
make it happen. Let's make
let's
it
make
happen.
it
Yeah,
happen.
please do.
So, I wanted to bring you on. We got a lot of buying pressure here in precious metals. Oil looks like it's starting to move.
Oh yes.
Copper looks really good. That's over 6% or something in a daily move. And we see this gigantic move down in the dollar too. The DXY down by about 2%. Is this the beginning of something? What do you think? What's your opinions on this?
I think this could be the early stages, but I think the next week or two will be just as important, if not more important as well, just to get the confirmation that we're all looking for. But if you're looking at different ratios, the dollar, gold and silver, we could be in for something that we have been waiting for 2 years now. Could be.
So,
So yeah.
so what are some things that you look for? And what are we looking for over the next week or two when you say confirmation? Like what exactly are you looking for to say, wow, this is it, versus this is a dud, this is a false start? What are some things that you're looking for?
I mean, if we're looking at the gold to silver ratio, I can quickly put up the chart here. Just one
Mhm.
second. This one should
Because
be it.
what I look for is that nice, big, gigantic, forceful move that usually
Mhm.
happens at the beginning. And obviously this could obviously be the beginning of it. So, yeah, definitely. Yeah. What are you seeing here?
I mean, this is the gold to silver ratio, and I know that a lot of your viewers are very familiar with that as well. And what we have been doing for the past, what is it, almost like 2 years now, is that we have been in this expanding wedge to the upside, which usually breaks down at some point. And this is actually what we have gotten today, on this weekly close, is a break below the lower trend line, and then also below this very important level that we have across here, somewhere in this area. So we did actually break two big supports, which is looking very good for the week to come. Um, so that's also why I wrote on my Twitter this morning, Danish time, that I was only looking at the gold to silver ratio today because I could see, it's starting to break down here, like 12 hours ago. And then, in the last, oh, sorry, like here, just going to the 1 hourly here, I could see, it started to break down. And that's why I know that something could be up. And of course, when the US market opened up, we had the confirmation. So that ratio looks very good. And also,
So
I think I have, yeah, go ahead.
when looking at this ratio, just so everybody understands, when this thing falls, silver is outperforming gold. And
Yes,
when
that's
silver outperforms gold, what that means is that commodities in general usually do very well when the smaller commodities are outperforming, let's say, the daddy metal, which is gold. So we'll see platinum outperform, silver outperform, oil outperform in relationship to gold. And that's kind of like the commodity bull market is back on, or it's game on for those. So, and I just want to make sure everybody understands that who's listening.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. You see the same in cryptos, right? If you have, Ethereum and all those the smaller coins outperforming Bitcoin, you're in a bull market for crypto, and the same goes here as well for gold and silver. So it's the exact same thing.
Yep.
So, and I have also tried to make a measured move. And what I am doing here is, I take the top here down to the bottom and then to the top again here, and then you can see the Fibonacci levels that it will plug in. And funny enough, this measured move is the exact bottom back in 2011 at around 30 in this ratio. So it's the alignment here is really, really good. And if we get a drop from like 80 to 30, you will have over 2x, in favor of silver for this next move up in precious metals.
Yeah, it'll double the
So,
performance of gold. That's
yeah, at
crazy.
least, yeah. So yeah, it's yeah, and I think of course, gold will go up during this time, so silver will do like 3x, 3.5x, So it's very exciting if we get that kind of move now. But it's still early, but you have to celebrate the small victories you get once in a while, and this today has has been one for sure. So
So when this thing comes back down, that ratio, do you think it normally follows the normal path of a pullback of, like, say, what the S&P 500 would do? Like it pulls back first, you get another kind of move higher, which is that's considered a bull trap, and then it comes in and goes back down massively. Do you think that's going to be similar of the way this ratio is going to move? It kind of it comes on down, it comes back up, and then you get that big kind of move lower. This would be the largest leg of the move lower would be next if it were to
yeah,
follow that type of pattern.
yes, exactly. But as you see here, the first leg down, it didn't go down in a straight line. We have pullbacks on the way, and we will have the same thing again here in this ratio, or in this leg down as well. So even if you're looking at ratios or commodities or whatever, breaking a level and then back testing it will happen all the time. It doesn't matter what you're looking at, the way I see it at least. So yeah, for sure, it will happen again.
Now,
I agree.
another thing that we want to tie with this, I think that's an important thing, is precious metals. And usually what I see is I usually see a weaker dollar
Yeah,
tied with this. And what we see is we see the metals like rocketing higher, but we also saw the dollar fall, right? The DXY, which is the relative, I call it the relative strength indicator of currencies. But that dollar really sold off, I saw.
yeah,
Are
it
we
did.
top,
So yeah, sorry.
are we topping here in the dollar, you think?
Yes, I do think we are. Also, if you go back to 2015, we had this similar move up, just like we have here now, for the past year. And I think we are about to do similar things like, uh, we did have this melt up here, as you can see, they're quite similar. And I think we will go sideways for a very long time in the dollar. And as you know, 2015 was the bottom for gold.
Yep.
So this should also be the bottom for gold for this
Cycle.
for this time around. Yeah, exactly.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Yeah.
Yep.
But then again,
And
if
then
if
so
we look at gold, sorry, yeah,
go for it.
I was just going to show you gold here. One second. As mentioned, it's still a bit early to say if this is really the next leg up, because all we did in quotes this week was to backtest yet again, the very important $1680 gold. So what we want to see next week, or at least in the weeks to come, is to have a firm break, up. That's what, yeah, to have a firm break up, like this, for example, right? Let's say only for it to be green. But anyways, we want to have the confirmation here to break this level again. To have a bear trap here, and then to have the short start covering when we get above this line here.
Okay.
So that's why the next week is very important. Is very important. And the same goes for silver. We have the exact same, more or less. We have again the back test of this very important trend line here, which was broken early or mid 2022. And we need to get above this 21-ish, 22-ish level before we can say, all right, this is probably the real deal.
Okay, so we
But
still got a
again,
little work ahead of us then.
yeah, we do. But the gold to silver ratio is telling us maybe that this could be it for the first time in 2 years. So it's
So
looking good.
so the ratio is leading potentially the price move, and that outperformance of silver, being it's a smaller commodity, is telling us something right here, right now.
Yes, exactly. Yes, exactly. It is. It is.
Now we're not only just seeing
And as you
strength
can
in
see,
the
yeah,
yeah, we're not only seeing precious metal strength, though, we're seeing it across the board in other commodities like, copper and other things. So it's not just this sector. Does
no,
that
it's the
matter?
entire space more or less right now. Yes, it usually they follow in tandem. So yes, it's what you typically see. So yes.
Perfect. what other things are you seeing out there that are positive or changing positively in some pretty nice setups?
Yeah, I have prepared some different charts here just so we can have something to talk from. And I find this the ratio of this is first majestic divided by silver. And as you can
Hmm.
see, I think I've showed this before as well. And as you can see, we are again, at the bottom of this very long trend line here. So this
Hmm.
indicates, again, that the miners are starting to outperform the metal. And that's also what you want to see in a bull market, that the miners are outperforming what they produce. So this could also be the start, for First Majestic to outperform silver. And if we were to go to the top trend line, you have like 3x of outperformance for First Majestic against silver, which also is looking very bullish now, as we just talked about.
Yep.
So the miners here is looking very, very good as well. Very good. The risk reward here is just, yeah, really good. Really, really good.
Okay, so we've got potential for gold and silver mining companies to outperform um, their underlying commodities, which is good. I always like that. It's one thing to look at.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And and
And the
and
same goes for Barrick
Mhm.
Gold. Oh, sorry, Barrick Gold here is also looking, it still has some work to do, but it's still looking bullish against gold itself. But this could also be the start of something very good in the gold mining sector as well. So yeah,
So here's another question that I have. Like, what makes you, when you look at these ratios, I know we're kind of low on the historical like areas, but what makes you so bullish on them? Like, what are some things that you look at? Is it just the how low it is? Is it the pattern in how low it is? Is it, what are some things that you look at? Because if someone, let's just say someone who doesn't have the charting background as maybe perhaps you do, what are some things you look at and why are you so bullish on these?
it's mostly the patterns. I mean, you can have a ratio that is very, very low, but still look that does not look bullish at all. So it's mostly the patterns that I see every day when I look through every chart.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of used to see them. So when it pops up, I know, okay, this is a very good setup to follow. So yeah, it is the setups that I try to search for every single day that is making me bullish on uh, on what's it called, commodities. Yeah, for the past 2 years. So yes, for sure.
Okay, so it's the setups and to me, I look at the ratio, the absolute the value of the ratio and the setup, and the combination of all those things, and I look for higher highs and higher lows to break out. So looking at kind of all the things that are going on today, what sectors are you drawn to the most?
Same as you spoken last time. Precious metals. We also talked about last time. I think is it a month ago? I think maybe that the miners and precious metals actually looked very good, and that was at a stage where gold and silver and the miners were hated to the to the teeth. But right now they're showing some really good strength. I think the GDX is up like 10% today. So I'm very bullish again on the miners for gold and silver, and of course my beloved uranium. I'm bullish on as well. It didn't do as well today as I would have thought actually, but yeah.
So when you're looking at the charts, you brought up uranium. What's going on with uranium? What's your thoughts there?
I think it's just lagging a bit here. I think it will follow oil as well because oil had like what is it, a 4% upside today or so. So it will follow. It just need a bit more time just to get above some crucial support resistance and so on. So for me, it's again, it's just I'm just holding on to what I have right now. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, yeah,
No, I'm still bullish uranium too. So I'm not doing anything with the shares that I own. I'm actually looking to accumulate because it's if it stays down or lags below and everything else takes off, that's still things that I can buy, which I think has good value.
exactly. Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
what about oil? What's your opinions on oil there? I know that we were up big today. Do you think this is the beginning of a big move?
Let me see if I thought I had put it out here, but I didn't. Okay, 1 second here.
Caught you off guard,
I
huh?
think Yeah. Let me see if I can find it. Oh,
Because
5%. Wow.
I'm always interested in oil. That's where my mind's always at. Oil, natural gas, uranium, the energy companies, and precious metals.
Yeah.
I like the
Yeah, me
arrow.
too. Sorry? Yeah,
I
the
like
arrow,
the arrow
yes.
you got. Yes.
Yeah. I think we're in for a big move. I don't think it's the move, that will take us, above 130. But I think, we will do a move like this, to the upper side of this channel, and then we
Yep.
should pull back a bit again. We see that very often. So we should pull back to some level I don't exactly know, and then the next leg up, should be the big one. And I think that will go, at the start of 2023, when Mr. Biden, the good president in the US, has stopped to release all this oil from the SPR. I think that's the only thing right now that is holding it down. And on
I
top
think
of
so
that, we
too.
have yeah,
Yep.
and also remember we have China opening up right now, so
Yep.
their demand for oil is just going ballistic. So I think unfortunately, if you look at it from a society point of view, I think during the next year, I think oil will go a lot higher, and it will be very painful for a lot of people, to fill up their car. So it won't be funny, but yeah, at least if you're prepared, you can profit on it. But it's not the best scenario
No, I
for
agree.
the
I
so
think oil's going higher. I think it's going to
yeah,
rip, and I think it's going to move up to that other resistance line, and then dilly dally with it a little bit,
exactly, yeah.
and then we'll see what happens after that. I think it's going to be big time move. I mean, do you think we'll come up to that line, break it, this winter, like and into the next summer of 2023, or do you think it's going to take longer than that?
I think it will
And it,
take, yeah, like 3 months or so, maybe four. Then we get to the upper end, and then maybe we will break through, do some back testing, or we will get rejected right away, and then maybe spend, I don't know, 3 months, a half year, I don't know, doing, yeah, just uh, something, what's it called? Yeah, just tangling around, and then we will hopefully, how you want to put it, go higher from there if you are invested into your to oil.
so the way that I view it is we'll get up all the way to that level maybe this winter, and then in the
Hmm.
spring we kind of come back, and then summer it's maybe game on. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
like that. Yep,
Yeah,
something
something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree. Maybe, a bit
Yes.
far out, but anyways, you got the idea. We're going up, we're gonna flag a bit maybe, and then we're gonna go
Yep.
a lot higher.
And it
So
creates like a flag pattern. Yep. Whatever it
yeah,
is.
yeah, or head and shoulders, whatever. But yeah, something like
Yep.
that. Yes. Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Good. Good. We're on the same page. We're on the same page, which is the back of the book with all the answers. Hopefully.
True, true.
Fingers crossed there. Um,
Yeah, exactly.
what about like natural gas? Are we breaking here on that? Because when I was looking at natural gas, we had a nice little flag pattern develop. Today, we just blew out of the top side of that thing. It looked like almost. So,
Yeah,
what's
we
your
did.
opinions
Yeah, we
there?
did. Yeah, I mean, I'm bullish oil, bullish uranium, and natural gas is the exact same, right? It's energy. So of course, if I'm bullish on those two, I think gas is going higher. Um, but I think it still has some wiggle room to do. But as you can see here, we just back tested again, this important trend line that we created
Oh,
here.
nice.
Yeah, so it's very bullish, very, very bullish. So if we get a third test, which is possible, I mean,
Yep.
it's a big buy for me. And maybe, the last time you will be able to buy, gas this cheap. Um, so we will see. I'm bullish on gas, for sure.
Yeah,
I am.
some of the natural gas producers are putting in patterns where it could dip one last little time before a move on up. So, I mean, we're seeing natural gas, we're seeing oil go up, we're seeing some of the producers kind of do opposite things of the underlying commodities. So we're seeing some like the oil producers go not as strong up today as what I would think on a day of a 5% up move in oil. So I do think that the possibility is of one last little dip down and to have everybody get faked out, and then it just rips. So
Yeah, and usually
I agree.
usually if you have gold or oil, whatever, going up, but the companies that produce it doesn't go up, that's usually a very, very bearish sign. And you see that very often, you know, and so you will see, you know, the metal go up and then it will just fizzle down because, you know, often the leverage money always goes into the miners before the metal starts. So if you don't see the miners going up together with the metal, it's usually a bad sign
Yep.
for the short term at least. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So when looking out, I think you saw some other opportunities in the market here that not too many people talk about, maybe, or maybe they're not on the radar of a lot of us in commodities. What are some things that you're seeing in the, I'll call it the tertiary commodities?
Yeah, it's actually, I think you know him. It's Gareth Soloway. He's a very famous technical analyst. He mentioned, you know, marijuana stocks or wheat stocks, whatever you want to call it. And I looked at it, and actually, at first hand, if you look at it from a on a not logarithmic scale, it doesn't look that bullish. But as soon as you flip to logarithmic, to me, this looks very, very bullish. What I've tried to draw here is that, you know, we had a gap up here back in 2016 where this bull market really started. Then we had the three waves up as we usually see. And right now we actually closed that gap again. Also, we've broken this trend line here. Remember, it's the log scale. So it went from 70 down to 3. So it's a big, big move. But now we have broken out again. And my prediction is that for the wheat sector or for the marijuana sector, once we start to break this orange square box here, it's game on again for this sector. And I know that not a lot of people looking into it, but this all over here, you know, was the mania phase. You know, it was all over the news and so on. And I think we could have similar moves again. Maybe not all the way up, but maybe halfway. And I will happily take, you know, from I think I bought at around 3.5 to like the halfway. That would be like 35, right? So I will take that any day.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
so very bullish.
Okay. Okay. So that's good. And that's a sector that I don't think too many people are talking about right now. So that's
No,
good.
and I think yeah, I think actually the U.S. government is trying to legalize something or some laws or whatever it is that maybe could push this in the right direction. I'm not quite familiar, but I had just heard something. So
Yeah, I think so. Those are Canadian stocks, at least Canopy Growth is. I think that's ticker symbol weed.
wheat,
Okay,
yeah,
I think that was, it used to be CM, can't remember what it was,
yeah,
C
CGC. I have it
something.
here. I have it here. Yeah, CGC is the
Yeah,
American ticker.
CGC,
So
that's what it
yeah,
was. Yep.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so those did a huge bull market, pulled back, and looks like we're entering a new bull market. So that's great. That's great. And not too many people are talking about this. And on logarithmic scales on long term, that's perfect. Yeah, everything looks good.
yeah.
What what Yep.
sorry, this is the ETF for yeah cannabis. And this is the log scale again, you know, this is very bullish. Once we break, it's go time. So if you have some, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, what about there's another chart that you showed me a little while back that looked kind of interesting. And I think it was the the hydrogen HYDR or something like that.
HYDR. I
I
haven't
think
looked at that in a while,
it was a
actually.
hydrogen one. How's that one looking? Because I know that's kind of, it's on the, I'll call
Yeah,
it the tertiary, more speculative type stuff. But what's that thing looking like? And still looking like
this
it
is
needs work.
yeah, it needs work, but you have right now, you know, the famous, you know, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the Elliott wave. So this could, and we have to wait for confirmation, but this could be uh you know the bottom for this channel here.
Okay.
So again, this is energy. So I guess if energy goes up, I think this will also at some point join the party. But it still has some work to do. I have a small position in hydrogen, but so that's that basically.
What what sector looks the best right now? If you were to say, look, if you want to deploy money at this second, what do you like the best right now? What captures your
I think I will be able to answer if on the next time I get on, in like 3 weeks, because I think it's on a tipping edge right now, with regarding to precious metals, uranium, and so on. So I think we need a week or two more to say if this really has legs to it. Um, but
So you'd be more kind of conservative on the approach and wait for the breakout, or are you more aggressive? Like, what's your kind of strategy to deploy money?
it depends. If I have a setup that is very clear, and it is hitting, a lower major TL or whatever you want to call it, then I will buy into that with no hesitation. Um, but if I can't find a very good level to enter, I will wait for a breakout. Um, so it depends on how it is looking at that specific time to me.
I guess I'm a lot more messier. I kind of just cost average in when things start to, I see any sort of strength, and I just kind of cost average in if
Yeah.
the ratio is low. That's kind of been my approach. Um, what else are you seeing in the markets? What else are you seeing out there that looks real interesting?
I looked at the platinum to palladium ratio, and I think it's quite interesting because, I see the same thing as we saw back in the early 2000s. And that is, we have this is platinum to palladium ratio.
Mhm.
So if it goes down, platinum is losing value against palladium.
Yep.
And what I'm seeing right now is, more or less the exact same bottoming pattern for platinum. And as we all know, in back in the 2000, the early 2000s was the beginning of the commodity bull cycle from 2001, I think, to 2011. So I think if we again can break this white resistance here, or this overhead, I think actually we will have the same move again, where platinum starts to outperform palladium. And that's also where you will start to see silver outperform gold and so on. So I think this is the exact same as this if we can break to the upside. Again,
Which
sorry.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
And that this was if this happens, would also confirm, the gold to silver ratio breaking down. So we have more, pieces to the puzzle that this could be it. Um, so I like this one for sure.
And during that time frame, that's when the gold and silver miners did really well, right? Because that was
Extremely
early
well, yes.
2000 to 2004, I think, 3 or 4.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. This is yeah, four, yes. They did really well, and then they collapsed, together with everything else, in 2007, and then they came roaring back into the peak in 2011. Yeah. So
So we could be entering a very good time for mining companies and the metals and a lot of the
yes,
other commodities. And I think that was all
exactly.
tied to the dollar turned over in 2001 or two. I think it was 2002 that
Yeah,
the
it did.
DXY turned over.
Yes, exactly.
And that's when
Exactly.
everything kind of got that last jolt towards the
Yeah.
end.
A- And again, that's, yet another piece to the puzzle, right? You can see here, this is actually more fun to look at from my point of view.
Mhm.
I get rid of that. This is the dollar, but it is adjusted for inflation, right? So this also happened exactly, at the or more or less exactly, but it topped out and then it dropped in 2002. Um,
Mhm.
so yeah, so this is more or less the same. But if we were to go to the Dixie, let's see if I can find it somewhere here. Again, you have this big top right here. This the at the start, and then 2002. And I think we will see similar again here. Maybe not as steep, because I think, the euro, the yen, and all that crap is way worse than the dollar. So I think we will see
Yep.
some weakness. But I think again, the dollar will remain very strong compared to euro, the yen, and all that. But that will not stop, gold and silver to go for the next leg up.
What are some
In
things
my
that can blow this thing apart that you're seeing? Is there anything in the markets where you're like, man, I don't want this to happen? Where we'll call it risk or sectors that look strong, because everything I'm looking at when I look at this, maybe I'm just blindsided, but like the S&P 500 doesn't look strong, the Nasdaq doesn't look strong, the dollar doesn't look strong, and that's usually all tailwinds for um, everything to go up that we're in, and the yields are going up, bond prices going down. Is there anything I'm missing? I mean, are you seeing anything where you're like, what the heck is this going on here?
I think maybe if we underestimate the strength of the dollar, I think if it were to go to like this, 120, let's call it 121, that will still put some headwind to precious metals and the miners. So I think at least what I have learned in the past year and a half is that gold can go up together with a strong dollar, but you really need the dollar to go down before you have the big moves. And I think we need to have this again here. So if the dollar were to go up, for the next maybe half a year, I think we will what's it called? We'll have
Delay
to
the
wait
move?
a bit longer. Yeah, delay the move. Yeah, exactly, before we get to see it. Um, but
Do you think
that
it'll stop the move?
no, but it will keep it down for sure.
Mhm.
It will because I think a lot of people knows what's coming, and they know that maybe more or less the only way to preserve your purchasing power is through gold and silver, platinum, and so on.
Mhm.
So I think the move is It's not unstoppable, but I think will be very difficult to stop. And how high it goes is only a matter of how low or how weak the dollar will become, especially against inflation. And this is actually something I want to show you. It's actually a very good lead. Where is it? There it is, actually. So this is the Dixie adjusted for inflation, and then I have inverted it, and then we're looking back to where, yeah, like 50 years. So you can see here, actually, gold is tracking more or less perfectly, the dollar, yeah, the inflation eating away the dollar purchasing power. It's what you see here.
Okay, that makes sense.
So yeah,
So really,
exactly.
if
So it's actually
if
very
you're if you're a gold bull, you need the DXY to go down,
against
basically,
inflation, yes.
against
Against
inflation.
inflation,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
important. Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. So you can't have the dollar go up, but if the inflation goes up even more, then this ratio will go down. And then gold will still go up, in an environment an environment where the Dixie will go up. But against inflation, it will go down. If you can kind of follow my thought here.
Yeah, so basically the perfect environment for gold is when we have a weak dollar in relationship to other currencies and high inflation at the same time.
Yeah. Or yeah, or that the inflation is higher than the inflation growth is higher than the Dixie growth, let's say. Then you'll have that's the perfect, more or less the perfect scenario for gold.
Yep.
So
Okay. Okay. What else do you have? Anything else that you've prepared um, that you've got up there?
I think I have one more, maybe just for the fun of it. This is the GLD, the gold ETF divided by TLT. Um,
Mhm.
and what I found funny was that actually, this move up here, from 2005 to 11 is more or less identical from what we have seen now here. And actually, gold or GLD is having a weekly close above the previous high. So this means that gold could be starting to outperform as well. The the what is it, the
Bond,
20-year long, yeah,
20-year
bonds, yeah,
bond, 20-year
yeah,
bond. Yep.
yeah. And
20-year
if we
bond
start to see
price.
that as well, yeah, exactly, exactly. So again, that's maybe another piece to the puzzle that gold is about to do something very extraordinary, I would say.
So when you say extraordinary, like what do you mean? Come on, you got to break out of the shell. You got to. Are we going to go big here? Are we just going to pop up? Are we gonna break out, do a retest? Like what are you thinking? I know engineers are really conservative. I understand, you don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but
No, but but when I say gold is about to do something big, I think it will do something big against other commodities if you measure it against the Nasdaq and so on, and tech sector and all these that have had like a 20-year bull market more or less. Um, but that is not to say that gold could easily double here or do a 3x. And I do think, as mentioned previously, that within this decade we will get, somewhere between on the low end 5K to the high end 10K. and probably somewhere in the middle. So that is my target, but then again, mostly my exit strategy for precious metals will be the gold to silver ratio. When that gets to the levels that I see, then I will exit, no matter the price, more or less, because that is usually the time to leave. So
Exit silver though, right? Exit
yeah,
silver and
exactly.
then go.
Exit silver and then swap all my silver to gold. Yes, true, true.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I got you. I got you. So okay, so and some of these like gold is performed similarly with bonds historically. Like if you look backwards during this disinflationary period, um, the interest rate going down, which means the bond price going up, was correlated with the gold prices because the real negative rate was determined by the interest rate going up and down because inflation was basically stable.
yeah, yeah.
But now going forward, do you think that relationship is going to stay the same? Do you think we could see some pretty large divergences where inflation starts to take off, gold goes up, and bond prices actually go down, like like we saw today?
Yeah. Uh, 1 second. I want to find. Can I remember where it is? Um, I can't find the exact. Maybe it's here. Can I find utility?
All right, so what we've got pulled up is the 20-year bond price, correct? And then we were talking
Yes.
about the gold price not following bond prices, where we've got a divergence. So,
Yeah, exactly. And
mhm.
as you mentioned, we have had like 40 years of correlation between gold and the bond market. But as we saw back in March 2020, you know, this what you see here is more or less the bond market breaking. So the bond market at this point is broken. And the way I see it is, it's like, when you have uh, it might sound strange, I don't know, but if you have an earthquake, right? You have the pressure building up and then you have the snapback and you do like this. And this is exactly what you saw right here. So when that happens, this means that, this market or this sector is more or less broken. This is the blow off top, right? Um, so if you have one side of if you have gold and you have the bond market and one side is broken, then the correlation between the two is also broken. Um, so that is why, we can have, bond pricing or value going down and gold going up, where, 40 years back, you would typically see if bond prices went down, gold went down as well. But I think that relationship has ended, like 2 years ago.
So basically, could we use this as data signaling that a different paradigm is coming as well?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. You can see that directly in the interest rates as well. It's more or less, let me find the 10-year here somewhere.
It's all
I need to
correlated.
zoom out, way out. It's all correlated. Yes, exactly. Let me remove all this stuff here. This is, it's more or less the inverse of what we just saw, right? But basically what we saw here was, a big paradigm shift in rates, right? And this was the blow off top to the downside, where we almost had like 0% interest rates, and now it's only going up again. So for like 40 years, we have had rates going down, as we talked about, and now we will see a lot of years, I don't know how many, where, inflation or yeah, will go up.
It's perfect.
You can even see the retest, right? So it's so yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I mean, this is kind of what I invested for, and I'm kind of
Yeah,
planning for this to happen. Um,
exactly.
what do you have anything else that you've noticed in the markets that that you're following or watching?
No, I mean I have a few more, but I think this was a good amount. I think this was what I prepared for this meeting when we just talked 30 minutes before we went on. So I think we need, at least 2 weeks, 4 weeks to get this final confirmation, and then I think we can talk again to see if we were hopefully right that
Yeah,
this day, Friday, the 4th of November was what's the change, or what's the next leg
This
up
could,
in gold and silver. So yeah,
this could be the first day of this is the beginning of the beginning, hopefully, of the
yeah,
beginning of the beginning of the third leg.
yeah, exactly. Which
Or
is often the biggest leg. So yeah,
yep, the biggest leg.
yeah,
Fingers crossed, guys. Hopefully it is. That's what I say.
yeah.
Well, I don't have any other
And
questions, Casper. I don't know if you have any comments or closing comments that you'd like to make or anything like that.
no, I mean I have been investing into gold and silver, uranium, platinum, and so on for the past 2 years, waiting for what I can see in the charts. Hopefully I'm right, but this is I always trust myself and my own analysis, as you do as an engineer, right? So
Yep.
if I see something that makes sense, I mean that's the way I'm going until proving otherwise. And for now, I haven't been proven otherwise, so I'm still going in the direction that we need energy. And with high energy comes also higher gold and silver. That these two are very correlated as well. So until
Mhm.
I have seen, a different path, I will remain a huge bull for uranium, gold and silver commodities. So yeah,
Yeah, I agree too.
yeah.
I'm in the same camp. All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you like Casper and some of his ideas, if you like the way he charts, he does put a lot of this charting on Twitter. So follow him on
Yes.
Twitter. That's at UseLinkINV, and follow him on there if you guys want to see what his opinions are. And what I do is I follow a bunch of people. I try to gather the information, gather the data up, and look from different viewpoints. The value is just, looking at different people's, well, one is looking at maybe a different outlook at a chart. And I know Casper may do a different time frame, might do something logarithmic that I've missed or something like that. And I'm like, ooh, that looks good. And then it gives you another idea for an entry point on a sector that you weren't looking in. And then also you've also got things where you're just not looking at things at all. And then they're like, you get this chart and you're like, oh my God, this looks good. So that's what I like it, gathering up other chartists, I'll call it, looking at their charts, looking at mine, and maybe they're doing things a little bit different than me that I like to incorporate in my charting. So I really appreciate you coming on, Casper. Thanks for coming on. And
Always a pleasure. So
yep. And we'll have you on in a couple weeks or so. Hopefully we can touch on, gold, silver, and some of these other commodities. Hopefully they're moving the directions that we want them to move. So,
yeah, exactly. Hopefully.
all right, guys. Well, that's all I've got. We'll catch everyone next time. If you guys made it to the end, say to the end or the beginning of the gold and silver rush. Put that in the comment section. The beginning of the gold and silver rush. Fingers crossed.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, fingers crossed. We'll see what happens the next couple of weeks. All right, guys. We'll catch you later.
Bye, guys.